Man, welcome to the third official Backyard Bullies podcast video, man. It's your boy Pete here with my co-host Cam. How you been, bro?
I've been pretty good. Unfortunately, my Lakers haven't.
Man, I hear that, man. I'm ready to get straight into it. I know Ben Simmons had a quote. I don't know if I have it pulled up. If you have it pulled up, you want to start off with Ben?
Yeah, I got it right here. So basically, Ben, he was being asked about participating in the 2028 Olympics, and he said, "This is Ben Simmons. That's what I've always wanted to play in the Olympics." Simmons told RG, "If I'm healthy and I'm good to go, then I'll definitely be there." Now with Ben, he's had a lot of issues over these last, what is it, maybe been like 5 years. It's been a while now.
Yeah, it's been a
Yeah,
minute.
is Ben Simmons playing in the 2028? Is that realistic? Would you like to see him in the Olympics, or are you kind of like, Ben, you need to worry about the NBA first?
Is it realistic that he's going to be playing in the Olympics? I would say no, just because he's injured more often than he's not injured.
Hmm.
So realistically, he's probably going to be injured during that time. But if he is healthy, even if he is healthy, he's a good 8 points, 6 rebounds,
Hmm.
five assists.
Yeah,
Good defender. I
triple
mean,
single.
yeah, for sure. But I don't necessarily because he'll be playing for Australia. I don't really think it's gonna make a big difference whether he
Yeah.
plays or whether he doesn't play. He's not gonna get a medal, so
Hmm.
I think he should just
Yeah,
focus on the NBA.
yeah, I think I'm with that too. I'm like, man, I would like to see him play because honestly, when he was healthy, bro, he was one of my. I'm not gonna say he's one of my favorite players, but I love to watch him play. Like 6'10", power forward, point guard, basically can handle the
Yeah,
rock like a smaller guard. Had great passing ability. Only thing he never really got was the shot. But yeah, like you said, I think he should mainly. I think he should focus on the NBA and getting his career back up and going. I mean, I think he was like a three-time All Star at one point. You know what I mean? He made some All NBA teams. He was always on some defensive
hmm
teams. I would like to see him get to that and then kind of worry about maybe playing for Australia. But I'm all for it. But I don't really think, like you said, I don't think Australia will really be that great, anyways. They got Giddy. I
yeah.
don't know if Patty Mills is going to be playing. I know Kyrie is truly from Australia, but I don't know. Kyrie, he's already played for Team America, so the team isn't really going
Yeah.
to do much.
And maybe this is what Ben needs because I mean
Hmm.
clearly he's not gonna get back to his old self just in the NBA because I
Hmm.
mean he hasn't done it. He's had the reigns basically in Brooklyn, and then they
Hmm.
cut him. So I don't know if they saw something that we didn't or what.
Like I'm with you, but it's not like the Olympics are next year. So it's like, okay, next year he's gonna get this Olympics. He's gonna, bro, 4 years from now. We just had them.
That's true. That's
So he's
true.
like 26, 27. He'll be 30, 31. Like this is what he needs. It might be 4 years too late.
That's
31,
true.
trying to come back. I think that yeah, I mean Ben Simmons. I hope I would like to see him play in it, but I'm not like keeping
Yeah,
it
I'm
on
not
my
waiting.
calendar. Like yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
waiting. I'm not holding my
I'm not
breath.
on the edge of my
Like
seat.
Pete,
Yeah.
like oh my God, yeah. All right. So we got the Rockets have been on a roll. Right now, the last 10 games they're 7-3, and they currently hold the number two spot in the West. They are tied actually with the Nuggets, 44-25 as their record for the year. Uh, the Rockets, they've been kind of up and down this season. We're here in Houston. We none of us are Rockets, like we aren't Rockets fans, but we always hear about them, and we've been to a few games this year. Do we think that the Rockets can actually maybe make a deep playoff run or even get to the championship?
Okay, so for the Rockets, man, I think that they are a good team as as currently constructed, but do I think they can make a deep playoff run or a championship like contender type of
Hmm.
run? I don't think so. It's just really just due to the youth of the roster. I mean, we saw it last year with the Thunder. Great
Hmm.
regular season, just fell short in the playoffs just because they were so young and they didn't really have that playoff experience and that veteran leadership that's needed really to have a deep playoff run.
Yeah, I agree. I still think they kind of need that superstar. You know what I mean? Jalen Green this year, he's leading the team with 21 points a game. Alperen, he's at 10 points, 10 rebounds a game, leading the team. And those two are great, but I just don't know if they can ever be that 1A kind of guy to, you know what I mean, like a Kevin Durant or I mean, Braun Braun's only come once every 100 years, but somebody that's like a higher like I mean, you know what I
Yeah,
mean, like the best guy, maybe
yeah,
top
yeah,
10
for
player
sure,
in the
for
league or
sure.
something like that, like a Tatum or something. And I don't
And
know. And Jalen Green's been playing much better this year, but he isn't quite that next level. You
yeah,
know what
he's
I
not
mean?
that next. And it kind of reminds me of the Hawks team back in the day
Mm.
when they had 4 or 5
Oh
All
yeah,
Stars and
Corver,
but
Horford. I
but
think Jeff
nobody
Teague.
was
Hmm.
Yeah, and
Paul Millsap.
nobody was really 1A type of
Yeah,
player.
it
Nobody
was
was
just
like
a
a
bunch of good
great player.
guys.
Just a bunch of good role playing guys,
Mm-hmm.
above average starters in the
Starters.
league. And it just fell short, fills it out. I mean, of course they did run into Braun, but it fills it out. It was short.
Yeah, I think the Rockets, like you said, the youth, they just need a bit more time. Really, that's their main thing. And I think they still got a veteran guard in Fred. Now, do you think they need to move on for Fred? I know me and you talked about it. I think I'm a little bit more higher on Fred than you are. But do you think like it's time for Fred to go because they're already so deep at the guard position?
I mean, I definitely think that Fred he did his job last year while he was with him, but I think it's time for him to go. I
Yeah, I agree.
mean, he is a veteran. He did have a playoff push with Kawhi. He did end up winning the chip in
Hmm
2019. But man, I think they have so many guards and the playing time for like Cam Whitmore and the younger guys who I
hmm
think could blossom into a superstar or maybe at least an all star or something.
hmm
Um, their playing time is cut short because they have Fred on the roster.
Yeah, like when he first came, I was a little bit more like I was kind of like I was like, oh yeah, I like having Fred on the team, But now that we're a couple years into it, and the newer guys, the younger guys, I think it's time, like you said, for them to develop. And they're so deep at the guard position. They have Fred. Amin can really run to one. They have Jalen Green. They have Cam. They have Reed. They have They have a bunch of guys who can really be the 1-2 kind of spot that. I think Fred is still a good player in the NBA. Don't get me wrong, but for the Rockets. I think because they are so deep at the guard position and the guys are so young, they need to get as much minutes as possible. You know what I mean, to take that next step. And I really like. Now, do you think Amin Thompson can? Do you think he could run the one or something like that?
I mean, he has the guard skills in order to run the one, but his defensive presence on the bigger guys is what I feel like is gonna keep him at the three for
Hmm
his career. And it's not a bad position for him to run 3-2, But
hmm
they have Jalen Green, they have Reed, like you said, they have Cam Whitmore, so they don't need a mean to run the one.
I wouldn't mind seeing him at the one, but like you said, it may take away from his deep because now he kind of has he has a set up the plays for other guys. He
Hmm
has to, maybe work a bit on his offensive game. He's going to bring it up more. So it could take away from some of his defense. But I want to say this. I think Amin Thompson is a Ben Simmons 2.0, Ben Simmons 2025. He's the 2025 version of Ben Simmons because he's lengthy, he's 6'7", 6'8". Ben is a taller guard, 6'10". They can both handle the ball well. Both, their best attribute is that they're both elite defenders. Ben Simmons making some defensive teams, always being a great defender. The only thing that's really their negative is that they both can't shoot,
Yeah,
and a lot of people will say, well, I think Amin Thompson is a ceiling is higher, but I ask yourself when Ben Simmons, you say that now because Ben Simmons is down bad, you know what I mean? Because he hasn't been hooping that well. But when Ben Simmons was in his prime, I think Ben Simmons, if he would have kept going without having all the mental and the back injury, I think Ben Simmons probably would have been the better player. But now the ceiling seems so high for Amin compared to Ben because Ben has been, slacking these last couple of years. But
yeah,
I think Amin his ceiling can be higher, but he really has to work on the shot. I mean, I think
yeah. I
it can be
mean,
higher because Ben's been lacking, really. I think Ben would always be the greater player if Ben would have stayed the course.
yeah, and I mean, if Amin plays one more year and stays on his pace, 2, 3 more years and stays on his pace,
Hmm
he'll end up being like all time better than Ben. But at their peak, if Amin doesn't learn how to shoot the ball, I feel like they'll be the same kind of player.
Yeah.
Great defense, bigger guard, bigger player with guard skills, and so they'll end up being close to the same player. I mean, as long as you don't have the
The mental
back
break.
issues,
Yeah.
the mental breakdowns, and
Breakdown.
he'll be
hmm
good.
Yeah. And I do feel like I mean, I don't really know Ben personally or his personality, but I think Amin seems like he's a little bit more rugged. He's more hungry.
Hmm
I think he's willing to shoot more than Ben. At least he attempts, shots. So I don't think we'll hopefully not have that problem. And worst case scenario, if he doesn't work out, we got another one just like him in Detroit. So
Yeah,
one of them
one of
got
them
to do
got to do
something.
something.
Do something. Yeah. All
So
right.
with the
So
Rockets, though, what do we think about Jabari Smith, the Jabari Smith situation?
I'm glad you brought this up, bro. Because first of all, I just want to say he sold me in fantasy. I drafted him. He's hit or miss, man. He had some good games, had some bad games, but I ain't gonna lie, I let him go. I say with Jabari, man, I had high hopes just because he's a power forward at the time. Alfred Sengun really hadn't, he was always a good player, but he hadn't kind of broke through how he broke through now. So I was like, man, we got a nice little big. I say us because, we're down here in Houston. We got a nice little big, and maybe we can, do something. But he kind of hasn't panned out, and I think he's just. It's not so much that it's the skill isn't there and the game isn't there. It's just he's inconsistent. You know what I mean? One
Yeah,
night you'd be like, okay, this guy is a nice like starter. He's above average. He hoops like above average starter on good nights. Like, okay, he's a nice guy to have. And the next time you're like, not necessarily why is he out there because he's not like
it's
selling
not. Yeah, it's
necessarily,
not that bad,
but
but
it's not. But it's more so like we drafted this guy this high, and this is really all we had to show for it. And plus, he's gonna want his money eventually. We're gonna have to either extend him, pay him, whatever the case may be. And I don't know if he's worth us keeping him longer.
yeah. And do we think that that's because he didn't get enough PT? He doesn't get enough development with the Rockets, or do we think that's just how he is as a player? Because if that's just how he is as a player, then there's no indictment
Yeah,
on the Rockets organization.
I think that's what like Evan Mobley just kind of. I mean, he's always been good, but you know how he just kind of broke through this year.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's the case with Jabari. I think that might just be the kind of player he is. He's a good player in the NBA, and he'll have like probably a 10-year career if he keeps hooping at the pace that he's hooping. But he'll probably never make an All NBA team or All Star game. I just want to say that this is probably him, unless for some reason he turns into prime KG or something overnight. I don't think that's gonna happen. But
Yeah.
I think this is probably him. He may get a bit better. He's gonna get smarter. He'll get stronger. He'll get faster. His IQ will he'll as he plays longer in the NBA. But I don't know if I don't think he'll ever maybe be an all star. I don't think he'll ever be an all star, but that's my opinion.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah. So it's been New York has kind of been a disappointment. Well, I'm not gonna say a disappointment, but I think a lot of us had high hopes for New York, this year going into it, and they kind of just haven't quite panned out how we see it. And we know Tibbs, he's a defensive minded coach. He loves to, I'm pretty sure these last probably 5 years, I think he had some crazy stat where he averaged the most starter minutes, playing the five starters the most. And just recently, Mikal, he had um he had something to say, and that's pretty crazy coming from Mikal considering he's like an Iron Man. I think he played like what 500 something games in a row. He currently
Yeah.
leads the league in minutes, but he basically had to say this. So he said, sometimes it's not fun on the body, Bridges said for Stephen Bondi of the New York Post. You want that as a coach, but also talk to him a little bit, knowing that we've got a good enough team where our bench guys can come in and we don't need to play 48 to 47 minutes. We got a lot of good guys on this team that can take away minutes, which helps the defense, helps the offense, helps tired bodies being out there and giving up all these points. It helps just keeping fresh bodies out there. Now, like I said, coming from Mikal, him saying that and him never really having a complaint before, should New York be worried? Should Tibbs be worried about maybe losing his job? What are your thoughts on all that?
So I'm not gonna say that Tibbs should lose his job because he is a good coach. Now, what Mikhail's saying holds a lot of weight because, like you say, he doesn't really, have any hot takes or any type of issues when it comes to the NBA. He's just kind of under the radar type of guy. So the
Mm-hmm.
fact that he felt the need to even speak up on this is showing that it is a problem amongst players in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
And so but it doesn't make Tibbs a bad coach. It just they're not gonna win
Yeah.
because over the course of an 82 game season, you have your starters playing 47, 46, 48, 50 minutes if it goes to overtime a night, not getting off the court. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you get to the
Yeah.
playoffs, they're gonna be gassed. And then even if they're, if somebody gets injured, God forbid, or if anything happens where the starter can't play 48 minutes, the bench guys have to come in, and they haven't had any burn all
Yeah.
year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I agree. I think, like you said, going deeper into the playoffs, you're gonna want them to be, your guys to be well rested. It's like, and the body will break down over time. It's not gonna happen overnight. And I just think, like you said, the bench guys won't, they'll go out there. You're gonna need your bench guys deep. Now,
Yeah.
I will say, deeper into the playoffs, the lineups of people who go out there get smaller, but you still want at least 8 deep, 7 deep of guys who are like,
Yeah.
okay, he's out there. I know he's not gonna completely, wet the bed. And I think,
Hmm.
with them having in the East being Cleveland out there and the Boston out there, they're going to need Mikal, OG, all those guys, all those wing defenders to be very well rested. And some people will say, well, Mikal isn't a very high profile player. You know, what is his word really? You know, he doesn't. He's not like he's Curry or Braun or somebody
Yeah.
saying this. So I don't think Tibbs should be worried. But I will say this is a guy who never complains, and you know what I mean. And if it's somebody who never complains, to me that holds weight. Like imagine that guy who never talks, and then he says something to you. You're gonna take what he says. You're gonna lock in
Yeah, more
compared to somebody who
seriously than
just
somebody who
talks
always talking.
24/7.
I
So
mean, if it's really, that big of a thing, just ask Derrick Rose, man, about being out there when you're not supposed to be out there.
yeah,
I
well,
mean,
yeah.
like I'm not trying to throw no shots or nothing, but he
No,
he is a victim of being out there when
there
there's no need
need
for
to.
the players to be out there.
Hmm. And I mean, they may slip. I don't know if Tibbs is maybe just worried about like losing easy games. Like maybe he just doesn't trust the bench. You know, like maybe he's up by 5 or 7. He's like, man, we probably got this one on lock, but I just want to make sure. Tibbs, you got to just trust them other guys for
Yeah,
now. You know what I mean? And even if
yeah,
they do lose a game or two and you slip back a couple seeds, it's gonna be better for your team to be well rested, you know what I mean, than to have a
yeah.
second seed or whatever the case may be. To me, I'd rather be the sixth seed and everybody's fresh and ready to go than we're the second seed but we're all broken up.
But we're all broken down and
Yeah.
gassed.
Hmm.
And if you are not trusting the bench guys, even 7, 8 deep worth of bench guys, like you're not trusting anybody aside from the starters. That should say a lot about how you are as a coach. So that like if that's the reason that he's not putting those bench guys out there, then
Hmm.
that might say something about his coaching style. Or
Yeah,
does he
yeah.
need to
Why
be
aren't they
fired?
ready? Or yeah. And I mean, you can't say it's
Exactly.
management because he's been doing this with so many different organizations that I
Yeah.
mean,
Everywhere he goes.
yeah, everywhere he goes. So, yeah, I don't know Tibbs, man. I don't think, like I said, I don't think his job should be because he is a good coach. I don't think like he should be worried about his job getting took. But I think it's definitely something they need to sit down and I'm sure like the team will have a team meeting and say, hey, like we're tired, coach, or we got to get these other guys involved.
Yeah.
Hmm. So next we got most improved player of the year, man. I don't know if you had somebody or if you that you might have been eyeing the whole year or somebody recently that you're like, man, that guy is going crazy.
So it's not necessarily somebody that I've had the whole year. It's two players that I have in the running for it. I feel like everybody else is kind of, a couple steps down, but
Hmm.
below these two guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Cade Cunningham because the Pistons are a
Mm.
good seed now, and they're prime spot for the playoffs. And then I'm gonna go ahead and say Dyson Daniels, who I never really heard of until this
Yeah,
season,
I
and
agree.
now
Yeah.
he's the steals leader. I mean, if I picked him for the defensive player of the year a couple episodes ago, so
Hmm. Yeah, those
gotta
are
be one
really
of those
great
two
picks.
guys.
Yeah, and I think well, Cade's biggest case is that in Detroit they were ass last year. You know what I mean? Let's call it
Yeah.
what it is. And this year, and his numbers have increased a bit, but it's like I think his overall just his feel for the game has gotten better. His leadership skills have
Hmm.
probably gotten better. I don't know his percentages or anything, but I would sure they probably are up a bit. The guy that I'm gonna go with, man, Laker Nation, stand up, Austin Reeves, man.
Okay, okay, AR.
Now, I know the White Mamba is already taken, and I know Austin Reeves got Hillbilly Kobe, a couple other nicknames, but this guy is cold blooded, man. You can almost realistically say that there's a big three. You know what I mean? In LA now, is
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is it is it too much
Okay,
of a stretch?
okay.
You know what I mean? Let me just show you this. Since Braun's been out these last 5 games, he's been averaging 28 points a game. He's had a 30 game, a 28-point game, a 37-point game, a 28 game, and a 17 game. Now, I say this now, that's only the last 5 games, Cam. Why does that, that's not the whole season. That just goes to show you that whenever Braun's out, or maybe Luka's out, you can rely on Austin. And to me, that shows
Hmm.
maturity. The fact that, his numbers all around, I think last year he averaged 15 points a game. This year he averages 19. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah,
that,
so I mean, hey, 4 points counts.
yeah, yeah, it does, And I think, I gotta go with AR, for the most improved, man.
Okay, okay. And I mean, I definitely respect that take. Uh,
Hmm.
I will say we could parlay this right into the Lakers slipping without Braun.
But you got to think of though,
So
I'm not like he's saying he's going to win MVP, Pete. I'm saying most improved now.
now we're not saying he's gonna win MVP, but
But
the Lakers, man, I know we gotta talk about the Lakers slipping without Braun,
mm,
and Braun's clearly the motor of the team. at this
hmm
point. Now that we've seen them without him, even Luca dropping 40 balls and AR dropping 38, and they still lose. And so, I mean, it showed some good stuff about the team that like
Uh-huh.
Luca can still play like he did for the Mavericks because a lot of people were worried about it just because he wasn't scoring a lot and he hadn't got his groove down with the Lakers yet. And it
hmm
has showed that, AR can be relied upon deep into the playoffs or when you really need a bucket. If Braun's not on the floor, Luca's not on the floor, he can be relied on to get a bucket real quick.
hmm
What do you think is
Man,
the biggest setback with the Lakers without Braun?
the biggest setback is that the greatest player of all time is not on
Hey.
the court. Okay. Now we'll say, obviously Braun. It creates that two-man game with him and Luca. We've really never seen anything like that because Luca is almost like a Braun without the athleticism. Only thing, the closest thing I maybe can see to like, I don't really know. I never really seen two players like that, on the court together. So I would say that is like because the pick and roll is like, okay, Braun comes to set the screen. Well, boom, are you going to stay on Luca? Are you going to go out to Braun? Braun can shoot a bit. Braun can roll. Now the ball's in Braun's hand. The ball in Braun's hand is arguably more scary than the ball in Luca's
And I'm
hand.
on Luke's hands,
Like worst
yeah.
case scenario, Braun doesn't shoot it. What's he gonna do now? Ain't no telling what he's gonna do
Yeah.
now. You
That's
know what I
definitely the
mean?
worst case scenario is
Yeah, yeah.
Braun not shooting
So,
the ball.
so it's like and like it's no telling what he's gonna do. You know what I mean? So they can reset the whole thing up. Oh, Jackson Hayes set screen. Oh, roll down, lob. You know what I mean? Well, Braun out there is just another. It's just Braun, just the greatest player
Yeah,
ever.
it just adds
In my
another
opinion.
dimension to the game,
But I
basically.
but I will say they have been pretty down bad. I believe they lost to Brooklyn. We lost to Brooklyn. We lost to I think Milwaukee. My bad guys, and we lost to well, we just beat Phoenix, and we beat somebody else. Man, who did we beat? We beat
Man, I don't
Phoenix.
know. I
Who somebody?
feel like y'all haven't won a game since Braun
Yeah, I
got hurt.
believe. Well, our last 10 games, we are 6-4 currently. So, we're
I
not
mean,
too bad.
that's not too bad.
We
Y'all
went from
just
the
slipped a
two
couple spots in the West.
to the four, but I got faith that Braun will come back healthy. The strain and the what is it again? The groin strain is almost a blessing and a curse in a way. He can rest up, but at the same time, he did get injured. But hopefully, it's more resting than agony and
Yeah,
pain. So we'll
yeah,
see how
for
it
sure.
goes. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So, all right. So, I know we all over the place tonight. We talk about the Rockets, we talk about the Lakers, but we just want to touch on this. You know what I mean? This happened a while back, but Terry Rozier, as we all know, he was being investigated for selling the low or the under on his games, and then it was what's Michael Porter Jr.'s brother? Is it Jonte
Oh,
Porter? What's his name?
yeah, I think that was his name,
Let
Jonte
me
Porter.
yeah yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me see. MPJ brother, man. I don't want to say the guy's name wrong. Yeah, Jonte Porter. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was
Mm.
his name. Yeah. Uh, so sports gambling, man, is it helping or hurting the game? Do you agree? Do you know friends or like are you for it that gamble or?
Okay, so gambling in general, like as long as the players aren't doing it, betting the under or the over on their own game, I feel
hmm
like it is not really affecting it negatively. It's
hmm
it drives viewership up. I mean, you're always gonna have hecklers whether you're gambling on the game or not. Somebody's gonna say KD, he got BDBs in his head, he need a brush or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But since they started gambling, it's just been KD, you're messing up my parlay.
hmm
So I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. Like I don't
uh,
know, man. I'm kind of hit or miss with it. I think that, like you said, as long as the players aren't doing, but that's the thing though. There's no telling if the player, you know what I mean? Unless they do a deep
yeah,
dive investigation. Now, like the case of Jonte Porter, it was just so random that somebody, I guess, would be even betting on him that they had to do an
yeah.
investigation. But the thing I don't get about Terry Rozier is like I think his career earnings is like 150 mil. I'm like, how much money were you planning on making from this like I think he had like a whatever underground betting rig or something like bruh. Like I
Yeah.
don't think it was gonna be a mill. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't think
unless you're
putting my
betting hundreds
yeah,
of thousands,
yeah, I don't think putting my reputation, and that's really the main thing, the reputation. Because once you get caught or anything comes out, no one's gonna trust you. You know what I mean?
no one's gonna trust you.
Like
You're always gonna
it's
be,
gonna be, yeah, whether you're
the
found
face of
innocent
a
or not.
situation.
Yeah, it's like well, at one point they was questioning you, like, even if you're
Yeah.
innocent, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't know if I really like it in a way. I do like it 'cause like you said, I'm pretty sure it's bringing in a lot of money, bringing a lot of viewership. People are watching the game. It's like, KD, don't mess up my parlay. Tatum,
Yeah.
what are you doing? You know what I mean? And it makes for some funny memes on the internet.
Yeah.
Like I seen the one, it was like it like shows like a mansion, like a car and stuff, and it's like me one Saturday if all 10 of my NBA like parlays
Parlays
would
it.
go
Yeah.
through. And
Yeah.
that's funny. I've never done it myself just because I'm too tight with my money, but until something maybe crazy, until like let's say it was the NBA Finals or
Yeah.
something really came out where we were seeing that games were getting like there was a script or something or somebody sold. I don't think it's
Yeah.
really, yeah, I don't think it's really hurting anybody or anything
And I
like that.
mean, so I mean, I definitely, dabbled and dabbled in a couple apps that they have for betting in
Hmm.
Texas, and I will say a lot of times you can't even bet on just a single player. You have to do at least three
Okay.
for some, and then some is only
Hmm.
two. But you can never just bet on one guy.
Hmm.
So
Is there
even with
ever?
Jonte Porter, like you bet on him under, well, you have to bet on somebody else and hope they hit too.
Okay, so it's kind of like it's never just like I'm gonna just hey such and such, bro. Make sure you sell. I'm gonna just bet on you. You kind of gotta bet on other people
Yeah, you have to
and hope
also bet on other people
and
and
hope
hope that
that
they
they
hit whatever
hit
you
or sell. Yeah,
or
yeah.
say. Yeah,
I think I never did it, but like you said, three people that or however many that makes it kind of to where it's not as like, hey Pete, just go ahead. Like I said, miss them two free throws, man.
yeah,
At least I got to bet on some other players. I think that with the gambling, like I said, it hasn't hurt anybody to the extent to where like we know finals run get like a finals
yeah.
championship got rigged or something. So I don't have a problem with it. Mhm. All right, we're gonna go ahead, man. We got a new segment for y'all. All right, we came up with this on our own. We call it with it. My bad, y'all. With it, wait, or whack. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through a list of items, and I'm gonna be asking Pete, and Pete's gonna tell me whether he's with it, whether to wait and talk about it, or if it's just whack. If he's with it, it's kind of in the name. He's all for it. He's with it. So we got it was a couple of months back, but Adam Silver basically he said, let me pull up the quote here. As we get more involved in global basketball, the NBA is the only league that plays 48 minutes. And I would be, oh, I am a fan of 4 10-minute quarters, Silver said during an afternoon appearance on the Dan Patrick Show. So that got us talking with the maybe, including 10 minutes quarters in the NBA, what other maybe FIBA or EuroLeague or rules that maybe haven't been implemented, do you
Yeah.
or should be maybe put in? So I'm gonna go through a few, and Pete, you tell me whether or not you're with it, wait, or it's just straight up whack. So we're just gonna say, what do you think about the 10-minute quarters?
So the 10-minute quarters, man, I'm not really with it, but it's not like out of the question. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say wait on that one,
Hmm.
because with the 48 minutes, I mean everybody's so accustomed to it. So you're playing with a mental clock in your head, like okay, I only have to the lead's 10, but I got 12 minutes in the fourth to come out.
Hmm.
And even if I blow it the first 2 minutes, I still got 10 minutes left. Like, so it's gonna be a
Yeah.
huge adjustment period for the whole NBA. And I feel like it's not necessarily gonna drive viewership down, but it's gonna make for less of those comebacks that we're accustomed to
Hmm.
seeing.
Yeah, because what is it? The extra? It's going to be extra 8 minutes. Cut off for the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think. Well, what is it going to do for load management though? Is it going to? It would help. You think it would help load management enough? Like
I mean,
at
you'd think
all?
it would help load management, but I mean, look at Kawhi, man. They load managed him. They
They can
let
make
him
the
they let
games
him
1 minute.
yeah, they let him load manage, and he took advantage. So the 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 more that you say, oh yeah, it's okay to be
Hmm.
under load management, or we're gonna
Hmm.
shorten the games, or whatever you do, it's always gonna be taken advantage of by a select few people.
Hmm. And now when a guy's maybe on minutes restriction for 25 minutes a game, now he'll be on minutes restriction for 18 minutes a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like you said, yeah, they're probably definitely going to take advantage of it. And what's gonna do? It's gonna hurt records. You know what I mean? That
yeah,
Braun 50K, 40K, kiss that goodbye for on 10
because
minute quarters.
yeah, I mean
And
that's
that,
already so crazy to get
mhm.
that. I mean, if you put it on 10-minute quarters, somebody's gonna have to play 25 years, averaging 30.
Yeah, like
Like,
Yeah, them 10-minute quarters and dang, I had one more thing, 10-minute quarters and yeah, the records though, like I mean to drop 70 in a or 60 or 60-point triple double or
Hmm.
50-point game, like you're gonna have to be on one. You know,
Yeah.
you're gonna have
And
the
it,
two have a 2K takeover the whole game.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And another one that I was worried about that was gonna mess with the records is the goaltending rule. What do you think about that?
I think,
Are
man,
you with
that's
it?
whack,
Should we
bro.
wait? There we go.
That's whack, man. I'm a Wimby fan, and I say that because if this rule is implemented, Wimby will be a demigod. I mean,
Okay,
bro.
so for the fans out there, the rule is that in FIBA and the Euro League and other leagues that aren't the NBA, as soon as the ball touches the rim, now you can make a play on it. Whereas in the NBA, as long as it's above the rim, you cannot hit it. You cannot move it out of the
And if
X
it
path.
touches the rim or anything, you can't like the Kawhi shot. Could you imagine the Kawhi shot is bouncing around and then Joel Embiid comes and is like, you know what
Give
I
me
mean?
that.
That would have
Yeah.
took away from that whole, I'm not with it just because it's gonna affect the record so much, It's gonna are they gonna count it? I don't know if it's counted as a block or what it's counted as, but it's gonna and Wimby would average like if it is, I don't know if it is, but 500 blocks. Like he probably already has so many unintentionally. Imagine if
Hmm.
he's trying to block it off the goal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It would be it's just I'm just not with it. I'm just used to the old school basketball. All right, so the next one we got is no defense of 3 seconds. FIBA actually does this in the lane for the defense, so no defense of 3 seconds. I think
That's
it's kind of like the
also
Wimby
whack. That's
situation.
also whack.
Whack.
Because
Yeah,
I mean, we saw Wemby and Rudy Gobert
yeah,
both down there,
yeah,
and that was the
yeah.
scariest,
They
that people had to face. You see Wemby and Rudy Gobert down there,
they
basically
made it to the
standing in the
chip.
lane. What can you do? You can't
Who?
do anything against
Anything?
that. I think the
Yeah.
NBA has a good, setup. If they wanna, I might change my answer to wait, because if they wanna, make it to like 5 seconds in the lane,
Like a
okay,
bit longer.
cool. If they want to make it a bit longer, okay, maybe I'll be with it. But none at all
Oh,
is whack.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It would I mean, yeah, like them guys like Wimby. I hate to keep saying Wimby, 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 but anytime where there's a defensive rule implemented that allows the defense more freedom, Wimby is gonna he's gonna be, what I mean, he's gonna
Yeah,
get help from that rule because he's so great already. All right, yeah, I think yeah, nah. For me, it's whack, man.
for sure, for sure.
And plus, me being a smaller guard, I hoop, I've been in a few men's leagues and such. Imagine if I'm pretty skinny. I need them bigger dudes. I need them to get in. I need them to get out if I want a chance at a layup.
Pause. Pause.
Oh, oh, oh,
Whoa.
oh,
Oh
yo,
man, I'm not with
yo,
that.
that was crazy. That was crazy. That was crazy.
That was
My fault.
crazy.
That was crazy.
So another not necessarily rule, but change to the game that they're trying to promote is the 4-point shot. Are you with it or is it whack?
You know, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait on it because, like I said, I play basketball and I know what it's like when taller defenders are down there in the lane. And if you're a smaller guard, you try to stay away from them as much as possible. I would say, hey, just shoot it. But I will say it probably will ruin the game. And I like the mid-range game, like DeMar, Kobe is one of my favorite players. Kawhi lives in the mid-range. So it probably would take away from that. But it would be interesting to see how it evolves over time. Like probably the first season it comes out, maybe only 50 of them will be attempted. Next season, maybe 75 will be attempted. Next
Yeah,
season, and it's so on and so forth, kind of like 3-point shot. Like at first it was like, they shoot only a few threes, and now it's like they shoot more threes than layups. So
yeah,
I'm kind of I'm kind of winning in a way because the NBA players are the most skilled players. So I would like to see who maybe can hit 4-point shots consistently. And I couldn't imagine like, oh, they're down three, And a lot of times Damon Curry already shoot what I think the 4-point shot should be.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So for them to do it and for it to be 4 points, I think that would be pretty cool.
yeah. So with the 4-point shot, man, I want to say with it, but I'm gonna just go ahead and say wait, just mainly because we don't we don't know how it's gonna affect the game. I mean, you think a lot of people think, oh, it's gonna be all right. They already shoot from that deep anyway, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. But at the end of the day, it's kids at the gym when I go to play
Hmm.
basketball who exclusively shoot threes. They have a wide open fast break, somebody right behind them, and they stop to shoot the three instead of going and
Hmm.
finishing on a layup. And nine times out of ten, they're gonna miss. So
Yeah.
I mean, like it's not necessarily ruined the game with the 3-point shot, but
Yeah.
it definitely changed it a lot. And with the four
Yeah.
point shot, I mean, kids are gonna be shooting from half court.
And probably only one person on the team really needs to be shooting that
Really
shot,
needs
but
to be shooting.
everybody on the team
Yeah,
is going to be
I
shooting that shot.
mean, yeah, everybody's gonna be 4 point. No, no, no. I think they need to go ahead and stick with the 3-point shot for
Down by
right now.
one. I got it. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Down by one, wide open lane, they shooting 4-point shots. Come on,
Okay.
man.
So I know this next one might hit kind of close to home to you, you being a Thunder fan. What do you think about NBA expansion teams? And I know that I say that because of the Supersonics. Y'all were the Supersonics
So,
originally.
so the expansion teams, man. I'm gonna just go ahead and say this right now, so there's no confusion. If they bring back the Seattle Supersonics, I will be taking my talents as a fan from Oklahoma to Seattle. We're gonna go ahead and rock with
Mm.
the Sonics.
So let me ask you, okay, Russ. Russ is mainly, and are you willing to? I know Russ is your favorite player. Thunder is your favorite team. You're willing to just leave your favorite player, your favorite team. I know he was drafted. I think what 1 year it was he spent or something like that
One
with the
year on the
Sonics. Or when
Sonics.
yeah. Um, you're willing to just leave
He's
that behind, bro?
he started with the Sonics, man. He started with the Sonics. It's not gonna come easy. It's not gonna be
Mm,
an easy thing to do because I'm really loyal to my teams. Packer fan, Thunder fan. Come on.
man.
But man, I love the Sonics. Everything about the Supersonics, man, I love them. I love
Mm,
Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, the
mm,
Ray Allen days, the KD and Russ days for the first year or
mm.
whatever. Man, I like the Sonics, man. I'm gonna have to go with them.
Yeah, yeah, and Seattle's a nice city, man. I mean, they got everything you need. They got city life, they got nature. Nirvana's from they got good music. Nirvana, Pearl Jam, they're all from Seattle. Like you
Hmm.
said, nothing really beats them Sean Kemp, DP, them jerseys was hard. What I mean, they had Ref
Yeah,
on the team, so I don't blame. I'm all for an expansion team, but can we get an expansion team maybe in San Diego? You know what I mean?
man. So
San
I haven't
Diego.
really heard much about San Diego, but I have heard about
Hmm.
Las Vegas. So
Yeah,
I'm not. Are we for the Las Vegas over the San Diego?
you know how we said we're cool with gambling earlier.
Yeah.
I might if they have a team in Las Vegas, I might not be cool with, bro. Because I just couldn't imagine the players running in and out of the
Mm,
casino. I mean, they're gonna sign
yeah.
that $300 million contract and blow it in the same day. Go to down to the Golden Nugget or whatever they got. I've never been to Vegas, but they got billions of casinos and blow it away. But I
Yeah.
mean, I wouldn't
I mean,
mind seeing it in Vegas. I've never been to Vegas, but looks like a great city. Got a lot of nightlife and stuff. Got a lot of a lot of fans. A lot of So I think it would be all right,
yeah. I mean,
especially
they
if
have
Braun.
the Las Vegas Raiders. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and they're not, they're definitely a poverty franchise, man. They're not good. So, I mean, I guess maybe having a team in Vegas isn't that good because everybody's spending. I don't know what they spend their time doing, whether they're doing it in the nightlife or whether
Mhm.
they're spending their time in the casino. But
Yeah, I
I
know
think
Braun was saying he would own the team. He was trying to at
yeah.
least. Yeah.
I mean, if Braun owns a team, even if Braun owns a team, and I think they need to. I'm for San Diego
Hmm.
over Vegas, man. Bring the Chargers back to San Diego
San
too,
Diego.
man.
Any other cities you wouldn't mind seeing or
Any other
Vancouver?
cities, man? Vancouver.
Vancouver.
If they bring in Vancouver, they might as well go ahead and bring in Mexico City on the other side.
So yeah.
So two
Okay.
more.
Yeah, they're gonna have to even it out. Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work with the West. It's gonna have to be even teams on. I guess maybe a team that's far east will go. Like the Grizzlies are in the West. They're pretty east
Hmm.
already. They can go.
Yeah,
But yeah, they'd have to make sure it's even.
yeah, and I don't necessarily think that having a team in Vancouver would be as fair to the teams like Houston Rockets or Dallas Mavericks because they'll be having to fly all the way
Hmm.
up north. Whereas, and then if they don't have one in Mexico City or something closer,
Hmm.
you'll be having to fly farther. You'll be more tired. So,
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Okay.
alrighty. So also our next topic, man, the challenges in the like for the coaches. Do you feel like it should be more than the one and one situation, or you think it should be stick where it's at?
I really want to say whack on this one because I've been to a couple games. I watch a lot of games, and it really holds up the game, especially like if a player's in rhythm. You know, what I mean, I guess the timeout could do the same thing essentially, but they take a long time those challenges, and can mess up
Hmm.
players' rhythm just for the fans watching. But I'm all for them making the right call. And the last thing I want to see is somebody got fouled and it didn't called, or I didn't get called, or you know what I mean, or they didn't get fouled and they called it a foul, or out of bounds, and and so I'm all. I want to see, I want to see the right call be made, but for the pace of the game, that's why I'm saying wait. I'm not really with them. Maybe giving the coaches more or infinite or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Like let's say even five. Could you imagine five challenges? They'd be
Yeah.
like they'd probably use two in the first, one in the third. They'd probably use all three in the fourth quarter for every little tic tac foul or whatever. And
Hmm.
especially if the game's already close. Those games are normally slower pace. Timeouts are being called, so that plus the challenges. I'm not really with them adding more challenges. I think it's pretty good how it is. And the ref it's human error. In sport, all sports is human error. I don't know if they're gonna have robot refs one day. That'd be cool to see. But until I kind of like the fact that the refs have human error because we've all played some kind of basketball at some level, and you might elbow a guy or you might do little sneaky stuff that hey the ref didn't see,
Yeah.
and then maybe he sees that guy do it to you in retaliation or little tricks that you can get away with because the
Yeah.
ref is a human and he's not like some AI robot surveilling the whole court. So I think the challenges would kind of make it kind of like kind of take the little rough and grittiness out of it. Like everything's being
Yeah, for
called.
sure. And it's definitely my answer on this would be wait, just because I think that they should get their two challenges. I don't think they should have to win the first one to get the second one.
Hmm.
I think they should just get two, um, and move more towards the NFL. And then with the robot ref situation, man. I mean, obviously it's not robots; it's gonna be
Yeah.
like cameras and stuff. But
Hmm.
with that situation, I mean, in the NFL, you would never get over a game because it
Yeah.
would be it would be there's holding on every play in the trenches.
Exactly.
Just
Like you.
like just like in the NBA, there's always a foul
Hmm.
happening. It's just a matter of, did the ref see it or did it, was it
Hmm.
hard enough foul to be called?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like they say, it doesn't count if the ref didn't
If
see
the
it.
ref don't see it,
So
yeah.
so tugging on the jersey, holding a guy up, or maybe set an illegal screen, or like all those little things. Imagine if I mean, now we're getting off topic because we're talking about AI robots. But imagine if there was an AI robot that could. I mean, the game would be so slow. Every
Yeah,
play down the court would be illegal
a
screen.
foul or something.
You know what I mean? Something. So I think the challenges would definitely slow down the pace of the game. And I'm kind of just like, man, I'm just trying to watch the game. I'm okay with a few calls getting
Yeah.
missed here or there, as long as it's not like that. I remember that one time KD pretty much walked out of bounds for,
Yeah, he
yeah, when
did.
he slid, that should have been, I wouldn't mind the AI robots on that one, but all the other ones, I think I'm like, okay, it's
Yeah, or
pretty good,
coach's challenge on that
Yeah,
or
coach
something.
challenge, yeah,
Or like, when Patrick Beverly brought the camera onto the
yeah.
court for the refs. I wouldn't mind a challenge on that one, or
Hmm.
even the robot guys or
Yeah,
whatever on that one. But
yeah.
but I definitely, I mean, I don't think it should be any more than two. If it starts getting into the 4 or 5, like, man, I'm gonna just have to put the game on, take a nap, wake up for the fourth quarter
Hmm.
just to see 10 challenges, man. I'm not with it.
But we do imagine like a RoboCop looking like dude, like kicking Draymond out the game, bro. Draymond might crash out, man.
What are you gonna
Like
do?
rip the robot guy arm off or something. Like it's no
Oh
telling, bro.
man, they gonna file assault on bro.
Like, yeah, I think it's all right.
Yeah, I think
All
we
right.
good where we're at.
Yeah, yeah. So, players coming out of high school, is it you with it? Is it wait or is it whack? We've seen a lot of some of
Man,
the best players who I believe the GOAT actually came out of high school. LeBron James come out. So do
I
you think
mean,
like this
man,
this should be able to come out of high school?
I'm with it.
Hmm.
I'm all for it. If you're ready to come out of high school and go to the NBA and you think you're gonna be, good enough, you're already old enough to make that decision. They let you sign up for 4 years of debt, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt to go to college and stuff. You want to go to medical school, you can get student loans and stuff.
But
Then
most
you should
athletes
be able to go make.
they're on the scholarships now though. If they're that good
This
to
is
where they're gonna
true.
go to
This
the
is true. They're that
NBA.
good, but and you can go make millions of dollars. And with the NIL, I don't necessarily see a reason now
Yeah.
to come straight out of high school to go to the NBA. But if they want to, they gonna get paid in college. They might as well get paid in the NBA.
I think that makes it even more of a reason. Like now that they're, what's the point? They go to college for the one year or they go to, the like over, they just have to be 1 year removed from high school. 1 year, I mean, I don't understand that at this point. They don't have to go to college. So what was the point of them taking a
Yeah,
year off just for them to chill? I
just
mean,
for them to
work on their
chill.
game.
And I mean,
Um,
a lot can
yeah,
happen in a year though. They can get injured. They
you're
could,
yeah.
like anything can happen. So why wait if you're gonna let them come after a year instead of,
Mhm.
3 years or whatever it was for whatever it is for football. I think it's 3 years for the NFL.
Yeah, 3 years for
Um,
football and then the one for basketball.
so if you're gonna make them only wait a year, you might as well just let them come out, man. Just I'm for it. I'm with it.
Yeah, I would say with the NIL, it's not as bad because at least because before it was like they couldn't go, and then the schools were making all profiting off of their name, their
Yeah, they
game. And
weren't.
it's like you weren't reaping any
Yeah,
benefits. You get injured, career's over. The
you're
money that you
gone.
made, the school got it all. I think now the
Yeah.
NIL kind of makes people. But like you said, if they can go there and make all that money, why not just let them go to the
Why not
NBA?
just let them
And
go to
it's
the
not
NBA?
they're
Exactly.
not getting a degree in 1 year, so why
No,
they
I mean
even?
they're probably taking the easiest class they could
This is
take for that
yeah.
year, and flunking out. It don't matter.
Yeah,
They don't care.
I
They're,
know.
oh, we're going to the NBA, so it doesn't
NBA.
matter. So
Yeah. And then if they know they're going to the NBA, it's not like, I mean, unless they truly think they can maybe win the March, the tournament, they're not going to be going all out. I mean, Kyrie, what did he play? 11 games for Duke? I mean, he knew he was going number
yeah,
one. Why is he going to go out there and go, hoop like as if,
yeah.
like,
It's
he
like the
knows,
NBA Finals when we
yeah,
know
yeah,
he's gonna go
he's
to the
going to go to
NBA
the
and make
NBA.
some
And at the
money.
time, he wasn't getting any money. So
Yeah,
it's kind of like, why would I go out there and, hoop like,
yeah. And then I feel like with it's such a big risk just to play because you see St. John's and the St. Bonaventure Bonnies
yeah,
beating Duke and stuff
yeah,
in March
upset.
Madness because it's just one game.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, he couldn't even beat these guys with his team. What makes me think he's gonna lead my team?
So it's
So now
almost
your
hurting their
draft
draft
stock,
stock in a way.
yeah, your
Yeah.
draft stock is dropping. They said you can go one number one out of high school, but the next year you're going number 27.
Yeah. Now, I will say, though, it does give them more time to see their game versus higher level competition. I
This is
can't think of off the
true.
top of my head somebody who maybe was going number one in high school, but then maybe got to college and was like, oh, nah, he's not that guy. But I
Yeah,
feel like, hey, that's just gamble, gamble,
yeah,
Braun, KG, Kobe, Dwight, JR, Moses
yeah.
Malone. I mean, those guys are all, I mean, well, JR ain't all time great, but those guys are great players,
Jr.
and
Jr.
they
all
all
time great
they all came
in
out.
his respective category, man.
Yeah, 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 drinking
And that's
Henny
Henny
and
drinking.
shooting shooting
That's
contested
Henny drinking
threes.
for the show and
So,
shooting an ill-advised shot, making it go in.
I'm sure there's been guys who Kwame, who have not been that great, but
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
I think for the most part they've been hitting.
yeah. I mean, if a guy's so good coming out of high school to where they're like, okay, we can get him on our NBA team. I trust the GMs and the scouts more than I trust randoms telling me, well, they need to
Uh,
go to college. For
others.
what are they going to do in college for 1 year, like we just talked about?
And most of the time, it's a generational talent. You know what I mean? Now,
Yeah,
Kobe was kind of exception because he wasn't drafted crazy high. He was number 13. But like Braun, it's like the whole world was like knew about
yeah,
Braun. So are you not gonna get him as soon as you can? Dwight Howard was like a man amongst boys. I mean, we need him
yeah.
now on the team. Yeah,
We've been needed. We needed them
yeah,
2 years
years
ago.
ago.
Like,
Yeah, yeah. So I'm all for it. Go ahead. The young bulls. Hope they get their money.
yeah, that's for sure,
Hmm.
for sure. And then piggybacking off of the randoms, I got a different little question. How do we feel about getting randoms in the dunk contest?
You know, I'm almost at the point where almost. I was originally I was with it, but now it's whack, bro. It's whack.
Yeah, yeah, okay,
It's
okay,
whack.
okay. I was worried for a second. I thought you were gonna say you was with
It's
it.
it's whack because I'm not trying to see them randoms, man. I can watch the randoms
Oh,
on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. If I want to see some cool dunks, go on YouTube right now, guys, and type in, you know,
cool
crazy
dunks.
cool dunks. You're gonna see
Yeah,
some random dude do a triple between the legs, alley oop, ice cream scoop, slam. So,
yeah.
so
Lakers
I
in
like,
five.
I know. I think Stephen A. proposed this. He said, have like NBA players pick a guy they're choosing, and then they put money on, like, and whoever like wins out of like Braun has a guy, KD has a guy, whatever, and whoever guy wins, they get the money or donate the money to charity. I
Yeah,
wouldn't mind maybe seeing something like that, but even then, I'm not trying to see those guys. It's not necessarily that the dunk contest has been weak. and I know a lot of people are saying scrap it, but I know there are guys who can do better dunks than the all stars in the NBA. There's guys who can do better
Yeah,
dunks than John Moran, Anthony Edwards, and Joel Embiid, and Braun, and all those other guys. But it's the fact that I'm trying to see who's the best out of them. They may never
yeah.
be able to do dunks as great as like the pro dunkers, the guys who can do all the crazy dunks. But I'm just trying to see who's the best out of
The
Anthony
NBA
Edwards
players, like,
and
yeah.
John Moran. I don't really, I know there's guys who can do better dunks than them, but I just want to see them. They're the stars. So
Yeah,
it's not really
we
about,
watch the
yeah.
NBA thinking, okay, these are the high flying guys.
Hmm.
So I want to know who's the better dunker out of these high flying
Yeah,
NBA guys that can average 30 points
30
a game if they want.
in real basketball, yeah.
These randoms coming in, if they were so good, why are they not in the NBA?
NBA.
Like
Yeah.
they could dunk the ball. I mean,
Oh.
I feel like Mac McClung winning the
Hmm.
dunk contest for the last 3 years in a
Yeah,
row.
3 years in a
I
row.
feel like that has opened the door for the randoms because he doesn't play on a team. He's
Yeah,
in the
I
G
think he's
League
played
all
like
year.
yeah, 3 NBA
Yeah,
games or something like that.
he's in the G League all season. They bring him up, let him play in the dunk contest, win, and then ship him back to the G League. They making all the money
Yeah.
off of Mac McClung back.
Yeah, yeah. And I would rather see uh I don't know, Wimby or whoever, like a all-star player, just do a tomahawk 5 times in a row, or however many times in a row, and versus another guy all-star doing windmill 5 times in a row, just to see who got the best. I just want to see. I don't really care about the
Yeah,
dunk. I just want to see them two do their best dunks. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And Mac McClung, I mean, the dunks he do are awesome, but at the end of the day, it's like,
Man,
who
you don't
are
even
these
have you.
guys?
Yeah, you don't even have
Yeah,
a spot on an
yeah,
NBA
NBA
roster,
roster.
and you coming in here and doing some dunks. Man, you're not even tired. You never
Yeah.
played.
Bro, fresh legs, like,
No, for real.
yeah.
I mean, dunks are
Did Braun
cool.
ruin the dunk contest by not participating in it?
Do I think Braun ruined the dunk contest by not? Man, I never want to, talk down on the GOAT James, but yeah, man, I think he did, man, because his athleticism was so crazy, when they originally asked him to do it, and the
Mhm.
couple years after that, they continuously asked him to do it. And I think it would have been nice to see him in a dunk contest doing 360 windmill slams and stuff, and just going up against, whoever he had to go up against, but he wasn't gonna win.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
against
yeah.
Vince Carter.
No,
He wasn't beating Vince Carter.
I mean, yeah, he wasn't. I mean, Braun, I'm not gonna say he. The thing about Braun is he already is so accomplished, and I mean, he could have done, I guess, when he was younger. To me, I'm like, if I'm a guy like Zach LaVine, I mean, he did do it, but to me, the guys who need to be doing it are those guys who are they're not Braun, they're not KD, but they're not Curry, but they're kind of just under them. Like Paul George did it, John Wall did it, like
Yeah,
guys of that caliber, so they can get a few more accolades under their belt. They're probably never going to win MVP. They're probably never going to have 15 plus All Star appearances. They're probably never going to have such and such amount of points, but they can say, "Hey, I won a dunk contest," and that'll help the resume out. Like, okay, we say Braun has a dunk contest now. What's it really going
yeah,
to do? It doesn't really. You're already so accomplished. KD's already so accomplished that it's like, okay, they have a dunk contest. Guys who need it are guys who are like DeMar DeRozan, or what I mean, people like that
yeah,
who
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're all stars, but they need all the little accolades they can get.
Because they're not. I mean, like you said, they're not gonna be winning
Yeah. Hmm.
the big time games.
Yeah, yeah. Like, yeah.
So bringing up, you did bring up Paul George. I know we talked about him on the first episode, but can we circle back and talk about Paul George one more time? Do we think it's over for Paul George? Do we think his career's done for? He's washed or what?
Whew, man. I'm gonna say with Paul, he's like I said, he probably can be the third option, maybe on a championship team, maybe the third option at this point. And the team would have to be pretty a good team. It'd have to be like somebody like the Bucks or the Lakers, where they have their two top guys, or they're top heavy. They have two powerhouse guys,
Hmm.
and Paul George can kind of just drop maybe somewhere between like 14 to maybe 18 points a game, average around there, and have and have a nice little bench, backing them up. But I don't think he ever can be the like now in his career. I don't think he can ever be the main guy on the championship team. I don't think he can be this. He made the second best guy is a stretch. The team would have to be pretty loaded. You know what I mean? And then like it had to be
Yeah,
like Paul George, Jokic, Paul George, Giannis, and then there's other guys like Bobby is on the team. Bobby Portis, and a bunch of guys so on and so forth that are also like above average starters. But I don't. I think for Paul George,
yeah.
it's kind of we're just watching He just the
the
injuries,
tail
man, and
end.
then yeah, and then he just age, you know. So I think we're watching the tail
Yeah, and I mean they shut him down for the rest of the season
end.
after
Hmm.
having a pretty lackluster season. I mean they were talking
Pretty.
about what was it? I'm trying to respect the bro Paul George because man he used to be, I'm not gonna say one of my favorite players, but he used to
Hmm.
be top 15 in my favorite player list back then. But
Hmm.
man, they shut him down for the rest of the season. He got some injections in his knee. I mean, I think it's pretty much over from here. Uh, you said, he could be the third best, if he averaged 14 to 17 points a
Um,
night. I don't think he'll ever average 14 to 17 points a night for the rest of his career. I'm
yeah.
not trying to, I don't want to put him down or anything, but
Hmm.
I don't foresee it happening. I feel like it's over.
So he kind of had to be like a 6 man. What about 6 man?
Now I'm not gonna say six
Six
man. That's
man.
but he got to
So,
be the fourth option.
so
If he goes to the
okay.
Lakers, he can go to the Lakers
Lakers.
and win some something.
Hmm.
But man, if he's the second option or the two B or the third,
Yeah, they're cooked.
it's they're not gonna win.
Yeah, nah, that's it. The whole season has been unfortunate for Paul. I know he had like broke his finger or hand, or thumb or something like that. Dealt with a lot of injuries. My whole take was I don't even know why he went to Philly to begin with
Yeah,
because I'm the kind of guy where like even with like just anything in life, it doesn't have to be the best as long as I can rely on you. Like my
yeah,
barber. Like my barber doesn't have to be the best barber. But to know that, hey, when I tell you, hey, I'm making an appointment, you're gonna be there on
he
time,
gonna be
you're gonna
there.
do a great job. Like that's all I want, you know. So to me, availability is almost better in a way than quality. So I would
Yeah,
have rather gone to where maybe the team isn't as great, but I can really rely on the players. Everybody's gonna be healthy. Everybody's gonna be there day in and day out. As to gamble and be like, well, I'm gonna go for the grand prize, but the grand prize is a 10% chance that you'll get it, which is Joel Embiid. You know what I mean?
yeah. And
I
I mean,
maybe go.
he left saying that he didn't want to be with
Mhm.
somebody who wasn't always going to be on the court with him in Kawhi because Kawhi kept getting injured. And he
Yeah.
went to somebody who
Oh,
arguably
what
is
is it?
more injured.
What is this?
Kawhi played way, way more games than Joel Embiid this season.
That's why I didn't understand. Like, if you already dealt with that, the last thing I don't want to deal with is that again. You
That
know what I
again,
mean?
worse.
Yeah, worse. And I guess it was just the money. And Joel Embiid is a hell of a player when healthy, but it's a
Yeah, I
win.
mean they could
Yeah.
have offered Paul George the same money elsewhere, and he probably should have took it.
I
He
know.
chose to go to the Sixers.
I know they were saying Warriors, and like that kind of was around. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure teams are glad they didn't get Paul George because as much as it's not like Paul George, like we said, has been dropping 30, and Joel Embiid just hasn't been
Yeah.
there. He's been a shitter, bro. Let's call it what
Yeah,
it is. Like,
I mean, hindsight's 2020 though. I'm talking about prior to the season though.
yeah,
There
yeah,
could have been other places where he could have went. I mean, I'm not again. If he played like this, I'd be having the same conversation.
yeah.
He shouldn't even left because
Mhm,
you're not gonna do nothing over there. But you never really know exactly what would have happened, what could have happened.
mhm. Yeah, I'm not gonna say his career is a disappointment because I don't know if anybody ever looked at him being like a Kobe or a higher caliber player. But I know when he was on that Pacers team, I was a really big Paul George fan. He kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't know about him. I was really young at the time, but maybe 12, 11. I was like, oh man, this dude, he's challenging this big three Miami. Everybody hated the Miami
Hmm.
Heat at the time. Oh man, he's taking them, conference finals. They got this guy Lance Stevenson on the team. He's crazy. They got Roy. Like that was
Yeah.
a good team. It was a fun team to watch. I'm like, they got this young guy, crazy athletic. Like,
Hmm.
I'm like, man, what is he gonna do? And he did have the leg injury, which kind of set him back. But then he came out and had one of his best years. He was top three MVP voting on Thunder. He had his highest
Yep.
points per game, 27 on Thunder. So it can't really say it set him back, but his career just hasn't really. When he burst on the scene, I had a lot of hopes for him. Maybe that was just me being a fanboy,
Yeah.
but he kind of never really,
I mean, he didn't
lived up
win.
to it.
He didn't win
MVP
MVP.
or anything. Yeah, he
He
made
didn't
some
go
All
to
Star
the
teams. Yeah,
finals. It's
yeah,
just his careers. I mean, I don't want to say his career's a bust because it's hard to compare like going to the finals with your career being a success or not.
hmm
Because I mean that is the main goal. But also some people just you just don't have the team for it. It just
yeah,
didn't go your way. You had to play Braun. Like
yeah.
however it happens,
Mhm.
you just end up not going. And it's not necessarily that it was a bust, but I feel like man, if he plays next season and does anything like he did this season, he might as well retire.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say the bust. I agree because no one really came in. At least I wasn't aware of him being like a highly, like I mean, he was like it wasn't like he came in and they wanted him to be the franchise player off rip. So
Yeah,
he almost exceeded expectations in a way because I remember I heard him talking about he really couldn't shoot when he first came in. He was kind of just a defensive player, corner, kind of just shot threes in the corner or whatnot. So I guess he
yeah,
kind of outdid his expectations, but at the same time, it's like when he finally blossomed into that player, he kind of just never like took off. He
yeah,
never made it to the finals or anything like that. But hopefully, I mean, hopefully we can see him in the finals one day, like Chris Paul. He got there real late, and
yeah.
so at
Next year,
least, at least.
go to LA, the other team.
Mhm. But I think his contract is so big now. It's like who's gonna want him?
Yeah, especially
Yeah,
after seeing this season.
season.
After
Yeah,
man, after they threatened to put bro in the G League, I
really.
think it's pretty much over, bro.
Yeah, yeah. He might have to just ride out in Philly.
Yeah,
Yeah, because unless a team gets desperate and they think, oh, we get Paul George, that's gonna put us. But Philly thought that's what was gonna happen. They thought we get
yeah,
Paul George,
that's
he's
exactly
gonna
what
put
they
us
thought was
over the
gonna
top,
happen.
and it totally backfired on
Yeah, nobody even played.
them. Yeah, nobody. But I think that's gonna wrap up this episode. If you're still watching, as always, we really appreciate that. Please like, comment, share. If you know any share, please. We really try and grow the channel. If you have a aunt, uncle, brother, sister, cousin, dog, cat, anybody, share it with them. We really trying to grow the channel, but we really appreciate y'all watching. Pete, you got anything you like to say?
Yeah, I do actually want to say that if there's any topics that you guys want to hear us talk about, go ahead and comment it. You could do it on the Instagram, you could do it under this video, you could do it, on
Mhm,
our Facebook page. Just go ahead and comment what y'all want to hear. We'll definitely be picking some topics out from our fans and from our
mhm.
viewers and stuff.
hmm And let us know what y'all thought about the with it, wait, or whack segment we had. I enjoyed doing it. Let us know how y'all, if y'all with it, you're like, oh, that's pretty cool, or if y'all like, nah, guys,
Nah,
we love
just go ahead, and play a little with it, wait or whack
whack.
on with us
Yeah,
with that segment. What y'all think
yeah.
about it?
We love to hear from y'all. But thank you for watching.